China's optical AI system beat a GPU by 149 times. Here's what actually happened. A research team in China built an AI system with barely 1/9 of a commercial GPU's theoretical compute power, and on their test, it finished the job almost 149 times faster. That sounds backwards. A GPU with thousands of CUDA cores should not lose to 5 relatively modest FPGA boards, especially by a margin that large, yet it did. The explanation has less to do with building a more powerful processor and more to do with removing everything that prevents a processor from using the power it already has. Modern AI hardware is usually described with numbers such as teraflops, memory bandwidth, and core count. Those numbers tell us how quickly a chip could perform calculations under ideal conditions. They do not tell us how much time it spends waiting for data, switching between operations, or moving intermediate results through memory. The Chinese system was designed around that waiting. Researchers from Peking University took a neural network, divided it into 5 stages, and placed each stage on its own FPGA. They then connected those boards using silicon-photonic transceivers and an optical switch. The processors still performed the mathematics electronically. This was not a computer where beams of light replaced every transistor or calculated the neural network directly. The light was used to move information between the processors. That sounds like a small distinction, but it is the entire reason the system worked. Consider what normally happens when a neural network runs on one GPU. The GPU loads the data needed for the first layer, performs the calculation, writes the intermediate output somewhere, prepares the next operation, loads more data, and repeats the process. GPUs are extremely good at this when the workload is large. If millions of operations can be grouped together, the cost of launching kernels and moving data becomes relatively small. The chip stays busy long enough for its huge compute capacity to matter. But a small, latency-sensitive network can behave very differently. The calculation itself may finish quickly, while the surrounding work takes longer. Reading memory, writing results, preparing the next layer, and waiting for dependencies. The processor is capable of doing more, but the task cannot feed it quickly enough. It is similar to putting a Formula One engine into city traffic. The engine is enormously powerful, but most of that power is irrelevant when the car keeps stopping at red lights. The researchers removed many of those red lights by turning the neural network into a physical assembly line. The model contained 5 convolutional layers. The first FPGA was permanently assigned to layer 1. The second FPGA handled layer 2. The third handled layer 3, and the pattern continued through the 5th board. An image entered the first FPGA. Once that stage produced its output, the result moved directly to the next board. The first FPGA could then begin processing another image, while the second FPGA continued working on the first. After the pipeline filled, all 5 boards were active at the same time. Each one worked on a different image at a different stage of the same network. This is pipeline parallelism. The concept already exists in computing, manufacturing, and distributed AI. The difficult part is communication. If one stage finishes but the next stage has not received its data, the processor waits. If transfers are inconsistent, gaps begin appearing in the pipeline. Those gaps are usually called pipeline bubbles. A pipeline with too many bubbles looks efficient on paper, but behaves like an assembly line where every worker is waiting for the previous worker to deliver the next part. The optical network was built to keep those gaps small. Each FPGA connected to a silicon-photonic transceiver carrying 4 optical channels. The channels use 4 different wavelengths of light: 1270, 1290, 1310, and 1330 nanometers, and combine them on the same fiber. Together, those channels provided an aggregate link rate of 400 gigabits per second. The signals traveled through a 16 by 16 non-blocking optical switch. That allowed the system to create direct paths between processing nodes without relying on the same kind of electronic packet buffering and repeated scheduling found in a conventional network. The AI demonstration only used 5 processors, but the optical switch itself could support more connections. The point was not simply that fiber is fast. The network was arranged so each stage could pass its intermediate result directly to the next stage with very little interruption. That let the researchers keep almost all of the available compute hardware occupied. And this is where the headline number comes from. The team used a 5-layer convolutional network trained to remove noise from fashion MNIST images. Each image was only 32 by 32 pixels. The network used 5 by 5 convolution kernels and ReLU activation. They processed 1,000 images in batches of 10. The complete 5 FPGA pipeline finished the workload in 105.16 microseconds. Based on the number of operations and the theoretical capacity of the FPGA resources, a perfectly utilized version of the system would have needed about 99.6 microseconds. The measured result was remarkably close to that limit. The researchers calculated approximately 94.7% compute utilization. That is arguably the most important number in the entire experiment. The system had only about 1.969 teraflops of theoretical FP32 compute, but nearly all of that relatively small capacity was doing useful work. The researchers then ran the same workload on a commercial GPU with 3072 CUDA cores and roughly 16.96 teraflops of theoretical FP32 performance. On paper, the GPU had more than 8 times the compute. It completed the task in 15.643 milliseconds. The FPGA pipeline needed just over 105 microseconds. For that specific test, the custom pipeline was about 149 times faster. At this point, the result sounds like a direct challenge to GPUs. A weaker optical system appears to have destroyed a much more powerful conventional accelerator. But this is also where the context behind the benchmark becomes essential. The system was not running a large language model. It was not generating images, training a transformer, or processing a modern vision model with billions of parameters. It was running one very small 5-layer convolutional network on tiny fashion MNIST images. The entire hardware pipeline was designed around that exact network. Every FPGA permanently handled one layer. The task used fixed operations, predictable data movement, and a small batch optimized for low latency. The GPU, meanwhile, was being asked to run a workload too small to use its architecture efficiently. Its thousands of cores could not help if the network did not provide enough parallel work to keep them occupied. The GPU did not lose because its arithmetic units were slower. It lost because most of those arithmetic units were unnecessary for this job, while the fixed pipeline avoided much of the scheduling and memory overhead surrounding them. Imagine comparing a huge international airport with a conveyor belt connecting 2 rooms. The airport can move far more people and cargo across the world. But if the task is to move 10 small boxes across one building, the conveyor belt may finish before the airport has completed the paperwork. That does not make airports obsolete. It means scale and flexibility come with overhead. The same applies here. A GPU can run thousands of different models. It can switch between workloads, train networks, execute dynamic operations, and process enormous batches. The FPGA pipeline was much less flexible, but exceptionally efficient for the one network mapped onto it. A larger model could require more FPGA resources than the boards provide. A transformer would introduce different operations and memory patterns. Training would require gradients, backward passes, and optimizer states. Dynamic routing or variable sequence lengths would make permanent layer assignments more complicated. A larger batch could also allow the GPU to use far more of its theoretical compute, dramatically changing the comparison. The researchers acknowledge that the demonstration is small compared with modern AI systems. Scaling the idea will require more processing nodes, more I/O capacity, and much more sophisticated system design. There is another claim that needs careful wording. The FPGA system had about 11.6% of the GPU's theoretical computational capacity. That does not mean the complete machine consumed only 11.6% of the GPU's power. The full setup included 5 FPGA boards, DRAM attached to each board, silicon-photonic transceivers, an optical switching chip, control electronics, a host computer, and cooling. The experiment compared compute capacity and execution time. It was not a complete system-level energy comparison. So this is not proof that optical computers have replaced GPUs, or that Chinese researchers now have a universal AI chip that is 149 times faster than NVIDIA hardware. What they demonstrated is narrower but also more useful. For certain fixed, latency-sensitive inference tasks, adding more arithmetic power may accomplish very little. The limiting factor may be communication, memory movement, and poor utilization. A carefully designed pipeline can beat a much larger processor by keeping modest hardware continuously busy. That idea matters because AI systems are already becoming distributed. Large models no longer live on one processor. They are split across many accelerators. One GPU computes part of the model, passes data to another GPU, and waits for the next dependency. As clusters grow, communication begins consuming a larger portion of the total runtime. At that scale, the links between processors are no longer secondary infrastructure. They become part of the computer itself. Optical interconnects are attractive because light can carry multiple wavelengths through one fiber, maintain high bandwidth over distance, and avoid some of the signal loss problems faced by very high-speed electrical connections. This Peking University system connected photonic transceivers, a reconfigurable optical switch, and multiple electronic processors into one working inference pipeline. It is a prototype. It is highly specialized. It is nowhere close to replacing a general-purpose GPU cluster, but it exposes a weakness that raw teraflop numbers hide. A processor with 8 times more theoretical power can still lose when its workload leaves that power idle. The future may not be an entirely optical AI computer where light replaces every electronic operation. A more realistic path is hybrid. Electronics perform the mathematics. Optical links move the data. Software divides the model so every processor receives work at the right moment. The processors in this experiment did not become 149 times more powerful. They simply spent far less time waiting. And as AI systems spread across more chips, reducing that waiting may become just as important as building the next faster GPU.